المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المهدي حجتك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توى وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I missed you last Friday, but I had the blessing of joining Salat al-Jum'ah in Masjid al-Hassanain in Al-Dahiya al-Junubiyya in Beirut and have a conversation with Samat al-Sayyid Ali Fadlullah, the son of Al-Marhum Al-Marja Sayyid Fadlullah. We met before the Salat. Before I talk about stopping in Lebanon for a few days, I like to start from visiting the shrine of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam in the beautiful city of Mashhad, the mazar, the maqam of Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida alayhim as-salam. There is a hadith from Imam al-Qadim alayhi salam, man zara qabra waladi Ali كان له عند الله عز وجل 70 حجة مبرورة. It's really an amazing statement that if you visit the shrine of Al-Imam al-Rida, it is as you are making a mustahab hajj. Imam is not talking about hajj wajib. He's talking about hajj mustahab. Like you make a trip to Medina, to Mecca 70 times. This is to emphasize on the importance of visitation of the maqam of Imam al-Rida, and maybe because at that time not too many people would go that long way to Khurasan. Everybody used to go to Mecca and Medina, but nobody would go to Khurasan. So Ahlul Bayt wanted to bring the importance of this trip to attention of the mu'mineen. And the person who was talking to Musa ibn Ja'far, he was surprised. He said, Imam, sab'un hajj mabrura, that is a lot. Imam said, Naam. من زاره أو بات عنده ليلة كان كمن زار الله في عرشه. Subhanallah, if you visit the maqam of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, is like you are visiting the throne of God in his kingdom, in heaven. Of course, we know that ziyarat maqam al-Rida is not just a physical ziyarah. What Ahlul Bayt meant by that was a visionary ziyarah, a missionary visit of Imam al-Rida. The way that Imam al-Rida, he himself said it to Al-Harawi, he said, رحم الله عبدا أحيا أمرنا. قلت كيف يحيي أمركم يا ابن رسول الله؟ قال يتعلم علومنا ويعلمها الناس فإن الناس لو علموا محاسن كلامنا لاتبعونا. He said, may God bless those who raise our commands. And the person, Abdul Salam al-Harawi, asked, Ya ibn Rasulullah, how can we raise your commands? He said, to learn and get the information, learn the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, and then share it with people. Because if people understand the beauty of the message of Ahlul Bayt, they would follow that. So التراث الأخلاقية, التراث العقائدية, التراث الأدبية, the legacy of Ahlul Bayt in all these areas are a treasure to build a beloved and beautiful community. If we really look for building the community, and this is my emphasis on this lecture today, building a beloved community based on the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, based on faith and friendship, hard work, humbleness, modesty, love, patience, charity, acts of kindness, almost 10 qualities. These are the minimum. There are more, but I just mentioned 10 of them at this time as the foundations for building a beautiful community based on teachings of Ahlul Bayt, and to liberate the community from certain spiritual diseases, from lying, from dishonesty, from gluttony, from anger, from arrogance, from envy, greed, money worshipping, hypocrisy, injustice. These are again 10 bad qualities. They taught us 10 good qualities and warned us about another 10 negative, 10 spiritual diseases to liberate and clean our souls from these diseases if we want to make a good community. Al-Imam Rida alayhi salam made a long trip from Medina to Khurasan, to Tus. It's called Medinat Mashhad, the city of Mashhad today. And it's long, it took weeks for Imam Rida to make that trip. Was not easy because Imam was not traveling with like Boeing 747. It was with the transportation of that time, and it took so much time. And obviously Imam's trip was not his choice. It's not that he is so like passionate to go and see Ma'mun and work with Ma'mun, but he was kind of threatened that he had to make it. And the reason that Ma'mun wanted Imam Rida to come from Medina to the capital, which was Khurasan, Tus at that time, was because Ma'mun realized that the brutality of Bani Umayyah bin al-Abbas could not stop Ahlul Bayt. I mean, no matter how much they killed and tortured, it did not stop the campaign of Ahlul Bayt. So Ma'mun thought that if Imam Rida comes there and he gets involved with the politics in the capital, number one, Ma'mun, he gets some actually legitimacy because they say, oh, even Imam Rida is working with him. Legitimacy for Ma'mun, and at the same time he can separate Imam Rida from people and kind of reduce the popularity of Imam Rida and the respect that he has in the eyes of people, and for that reason he can improve his own image and reduce the image of Imam Rida this way. So he was gambling with this situation. But Imam Rida, knowing that Ma'mun was not sincere about this invitation, and like many other politicians, they lie, the politician. I mean, that time is not different from today, that politicians, they lie, many of them, and they choose dishonesty as a tool of advancement, to advance their agenda. They lie. And they not only lie a little, they make big lies. And Imam Rida was aware of that. So he did not trust Ma'mun. So he used this trip as a transition, as a transformation. as a trip of guidance, al-hidayah, to bring more education to people. And we know, like during the way, like in Neshabur, when Imam was asked about something, a message, he made that hadith, silsilatul dhahab, that kalimatul la ilaha illallah hisni, faman dakhala hisni amina min adabi, that the foundation of Islamic faith is la ilaha illallah. That is really the essence, ash-shahada, that's the essence of our faith. But then right away Imam said, بِشَرْتِهَا وَشُرُوتِهَا وَأَنَا مِنْ شُرُوتِهَا. A lot of people, they say, oh, we say la ilaha illallah, so we are protected, we are safe. Imam said, there is one condition, and that is to add Ahlul Bayt, the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, and the path of Ahlul Bayt to Tawheed. Because if you have La ilaha illallah and you don't have Ahlul Bayt, it becomes like ISIS. ISIS says Allah Akbar, they say La ilaha illallah. But then they don't have that Ahlul Bayt culture and qualities. It becomes like fatwa of Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh of Saudi, that he, based on his fatwas, is okay to work with Israelis against the Shia. He says it is necessity. When necessity comes, it's okay. It's istrar. We are mustar. We have to do it. Then Islamically, it's fine. They justify it. They justify the demolishing of the houses in Al-Awamiyah. Exactly what the Zionists are doing in Palestine. You heard in the news yesterday that they were demolishing the houses. If one person from the family was involved in a demonstration, they come and they destroy the entire house of the family. So you see the policies of Al Saud with Al Saud is the same thing. The thing that the Israelis are doing in Palestine, the Saudis are doing in Awamiyah, in the Shia cities in Saudi. And then there are fatwas that they justify that. How? They say La ilaha illallah, but they don't have that condition. So Imam Rida knew that game from Ma'mun. He said, well, now that you want me to be your Waliyul Ahd, to be your successor, I don't want to get involved in any hiring and firing. I don't want to be part of the things that you are saying. I don't want to be part of any decision that you make for peace or war. I don't want to be responsible for killing people. With these conditions, if you are forcing me, that's okay. And Ma'mun accepted that. But he realized that though Imam al-Rida doesn't exercise any political power, but because of that educational power, because of his knowledge, because of his piety, he is winning the minds and hearts of the people. And Ma'mun could not tolerate even that. And finally he decided to finish Imam al-Rida and to poison him and to kill him. And it took only 2 years. That means the life of Imam al-Rida in Tus lasted only for 2 years. After all this invitation and all this welcoming and all this propaganda for Imam al-Rida, no more than 2 years Ma'mun could tolerate the activities, the hidayah, the education that Imam al-Rida was providing. So Imam was martyred when he was only 55 years. And he said, "Man zarani ahadun min awliyai arifan bihaqqi tashaffa'tu fihi yawm al-qiyamah." If somebody visits my maqam arifan bihaqqi, means a visitation with understanding. It's not just a physical ziyarah. Somebody who knows whom he is visiting with understanding, then I guarantee the salvation for this person on the day of judgment. So really I was blessed to be part of this journey and be there for a couple of days in Mashhad al-Rida and visiting with some of the responsible. The sign that you see over there, and some signs that they actually hanged in the Mahdi Hall. These are the gifts from shrine of Imam Rida that they gave it to the House of Wisdom with some good books. Although it cost me almost $400 because of the policy of different airline. You have 10 kilos more weight and they charge you whatever they want. So it cost almost the signs and some books that they were free, but it was worth it really. That's blessed, that's touched the shrine of Imam Rida, and it was an extremely beautiful journey. Then, of course, a few days in Lebanon. I was so happy to be in Lebanon, the time that people were happy after what happened in Arsan and Jarud and liberation of that area in a miraculous way. People were happy, and then I saw this Mu'tamar al-Mukhtarabin that many friends from the community, we met over there, so we had some good time with friends, both friendship and food. You know, Lebanon and Beirut is really about food and friendship. So they were not short in any area, and alhamdulillah, we met with so many people, not only Samahat al-Sayyid and Ma'mumin last Friday in Masjid al-Hasanain, but with so many the scholars and also the Lebanese leaders. I got a chance for half an hour also to walk in the Rosh area, you know, where the water is in Beirut, and subhanallah, you can see the diversity of people in Beirut. Like you go to Beirut, you are not in an Arabic city. It looks like you are in the entire world. You can see every culture and every community of the world. You see people, some people are walking with dogs, and some people are dancing, and some people just walking and friends, and some people in very respectful way as a families. They are, you know, enjoying their family life together as they are walking. You see so many people, in one hand they have their cell phone, and another hand they have their cigarette. They are smoking and they are talking and they are walking. So there are so many, you know, things that you can see over there. Some of them are like absolutely muhajjabat, some of them are almost naked, and it's just free, like a country of freedom and country of diversity, which is good to be free and diverse, but I mean, you need to have some identity as well. So we again talking about community, how to build a community. I mean, it's good to be free. If you want to force people to have hijab, like Iran, for example, they do it, but it doesn't work. I mean, they observe it, but the moment the ladies, they come to the airplane and they leave the airport, almost everybody take the hijab off. So that doesn't mean too much either. So it should be a building, but you cannot force, but at the same time, education matters, that they choose it by themselves. Building a community. I don't think this microphone is working today good, but Sallu ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. So when you are out for a few days, it affected everything. Even the microphone is different, right? Sallu ala Muhammad. You know, we have great people in. We have great people both in Lebanon, in Iran, in Iraq. Doesn't work either? No, it's working. Okay, now it should work. Sallu ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Like individual, but you know what we need is not just individual, we need a community, a strength of the community. I mean, I was talking with a taxi driver in Beirut. I like to go with taxi. Friend said, we send the car. I said, no, I want to come with taxi. Because that is an opportunity for me to interact and get some ideas of what is going on in society. And it happened that that taxi driver was a Druze guy, and he was follower of Jumbalat. But at the same time, when we talk about Sayyid, he said, Sayyid Rajul Sharif, wa Rajul Shuja', wa Rajul Sadiq, wa Rajul Sakhi. You know, he was using exactly Sharif and Shuja' and Sadiq and Sakhi. The one who talks about, before he is saying it, he sent his own son to sacrifice. And he is generous in his work and in his action and everything. So it is important that we have this individual. In Iran, we have Marhum Ayatollah Al-Muqaddas Ayatollah Khomeini, Quddas Sirruh, like a great man, a surprise of centuries. He shook the world. He changed the history. But then we need to build a community based on these legacies and this teaching. So Al-Imam Rida alayhi salam, he was a man to build a community. And that is what we needed here, we needed in Muslim countries, we needed in the United States, how Islam can help us to build a community. The same thing happened in London when I was there for 2 days of my conversation with Dr. Shamali, the head of Islamic Center of London, which is the biggest Islamic center in London, in England. And I had a meeting with Dr. Muhammad Taghi Karroubi, the son of Ayatollah Karroubi, who is a PhD in international law, and he teaches university over there. So we were talking about the same subject of community and our moral obligations in as a Muslim community to contribute to the construction of the community, both among the Muslims and non-Muslims. So it's not that we are short of material. We have Ahlul Bayt, we have role models, and we have all this material in the Quran and Hadith. But if we don't apply it in building a community, then we cannot get benefit of it. I mean, material is not enough. You have all the material in the kitchen. If you don't have a good cook who can cook it, you cannot, benefit from it. You can have all this material in the parking lot, but if you don't have an architect and a builder to make a building, so the material by itself is not enough. We have material, but what we need to add is a good design and building it as a community. And this is extremely, extremely important. Yesterday when I was going from the hotel in London to the airport, that it took almost 24 hours. I mean, this from airport to airport, and I had a very interesting story that I don't have time to talk about it, because for one moment I thought that, wow, I made all this trip, like almost visiting 7 countries, either as a transition or staying for a day or two in each places, and still I didn't lose anything, and still I'm alive, and nothing bad happened. Just a sense of that. I got the punishment at the end, right? At the moment that I thought that, wow, that was a good trip. Then at the end, I realized that when I got to the airport, I already missed the flight, because I thought, I'm so happy that I'm 3 hours in advance now. And I thought that I'm at the airport 3 hours earlier, but I realized that I was late 2 hours and the flight was already gone. And how this happened, that's a long story. First of all, when the Quran says, Iqra, remember, we have to read with the details, all this flight information. How many times some of you made the same mistake of not to read the entire information and something happened? And exactly the same thing, because the day I arrived in Heathrow, London, I was about to rent a taxi, and the lady over said, you get a 2 trip, then it's going to be less expensive. And she told me that then the taxi is going to be at the hotel day after tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And she was reading, looking at the paper. I trusted her. When she said 9 o'clock, I said, okay, if that's 9 o'clock. Next time I look at the paper, I look at the same thing that she looked, because she said 9 o'clock. Then I went with the same information and I didn't read the rest of it. So she made a mistake and I trusted her mistake and I didn't read it carefully, the details. That caused me to, miss the flight. So remember these two things for your experience in the future. Well, alhamdulillah, Allah help me. Based on this delay, I should be here in Detroit today in the afternoon. But alhamdulillah, I made some dua and some hard work talking with the airline guys, and finally I was here last night like 11 o'clock. So 6 in the morning in London, and then be here 11 o'clock is almost how many hours? I mean, if you consider like 5 hours difference between here and London, and you add that, it's going to be long day. But alhamdulillah, still I'm with you, and I'm blessed to be with everyone. When I was with the taxi driver yesterday, I realized that the taxi drivers in London, some of them are more qualified than President Trump. I mean, those taxi drivers, some of them, honestly, it's amazing that these guys, they take you anywhere in London without GPS. I said, where is your GPS? He said, my GPS is my brain. I said, this London is a huge city. Thousands and thousands of streets and lanes and hospitals and hotels and mosques and churches. You can mention any name of any of this place and they know it right away and they take you without confusion. I said, how do you learn this? Well, it took us 2-3 years of learning and experience. For being a taxi driver, you have to really train for 3 years. Now some people become even a sheikh and they put an ammama and they don't have to go in one day in the hawza and all that. How this happened? Over there to be a taxi driver, you have to work hard for 3 days, for 3 years. And this guy, I said, what do you think about President Trump? And it is a British taxi driver. He said, this guy is 7 years old, but he acts like a kid. He said he uses Twitter. Twitter is for the kids, and now he's the president. He thinks this is a comedian job. It is a serious job. How can you talk about fire and fury to another country and threatening North Korea that with atomic bomb? Are you serious? How can you, who gave you this power to go and destroy another nation? He said it's unbelievable that this guy, he says this, destroy another country. So what? When you destroy another country, you think you are going to be there forever? Think about saving your own soul before thinking about destroying another person. You are not going to be here forever. You are going to be destroyed too. So what is this mentality of thinking that is okay to have all this reckless rhetoric and irresponsible statement thinking that you are a commander-in-chief, but you show that much weakness? A taxi driver is saying that threatening other nations and people is not a sign of a strength and power. That is a sign of weakness. That is a sign of weakness. And he said, just let live and let live. That should be principle. You live and let other people live. You are not authorized to destroy some other people. Treat people the way that you expect people to treat you. If you expect them to respect you, respect other people. So really, that was a good conversation that, again, this taxi driver is talking about how to build a community with values. Live a community of peace. The foundation of a community should be these two words: live and let live. You have a right to live and let other people have the same right to live. And brothers and sisters, so that is really my word for today. How we as Muslims can work to build a community. Our mosque, our churches, our governments, our business people, our schools, our people, individuals, leaders, work together to make a community, and especially based on the values of Imam Rida and Ahlul Bayt, that they gave us this. I'm so glad that any airport that I went, from here in Detroit and then in Frankfurt, in Germany, in London, in Canada, Toronto, in non-Muslim countries, I saw so many muhajjabat who are working at the airlines. You see them with a scarf, and they are very proud. This is something new. As a matter of fact, I saw in Hyde Park, the last time I was in London was almost 30 years ago. And now I was surprised, you look at the Hyde Park, there are more muhajjabat than British women. And especially during summer, these Khalijiyat, the ladies from Saudi and from Khalij countries, they come over there. I mean, total hijab. I say, you know, other people might be even scared to see all these ladies, and even their face are covered, all black, all over. And Hyde Park is full of these ladies, much more than British women. So you see that our physical presence is there, but we need to have a spiritual presence, where how we present our Islam and values of Ahlul Bayt. And especially, you know that tomorrow is the International Day of Youth, the Youth International Day, Yom Shabab. And last Friday, when I was in Masjid Hassan and Sayyid Ali Fadlullah, Hafidahullah, he was talking about these family values of, you know, when you see that your children don't pray anymore, or don't put the hijab anymore, or they get involved in drugs and all these tragedies, that should wake us up that it doesn't happen in one day. That one day they stop their prayer, one day they, you know, stop their hijab, one day they start drugs. It happened gradually if we are not careful as parents and keep our kids connected with the masjid, with faith, with values. That may happen. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. So as we honor the International Day of the Youth, especially during the summer, we emphasize and we encourage our youth to keep their connection with their faith, with this identity, and being honored and proud of the Islamic identity. So how we can make a community. إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون وأنا ربكم فاتقون. That should be our challenge. That should be our moral obligations as Muslims, to participate in making and building an honorable community. I'm so glad that so many of you attended and participated in election during this week, and I want to say congratulations to all of the Muslims and non-Muslims who ran for elections, both in Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, for the city, for the council. It is important to see more Muslims are involved. We congratulate to everybody who attended and showed courage, whether they won or whether they didn't win. That is the secondary thing. The most important thing is participation, and we have to continue this participation and make the future of our community a future of honor, a future of unity, and a future of peace and love. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد وإلى الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أن عليا ولي الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة وقد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله سووا صفوفكم واعتدلوا أيها الأخوة. Please fix the lines and please silence yourself. No self في الصلاة. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يعطيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين وآل محمد. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي ولمن دخل بيتي مؤمنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات ولا تزد الظالمين إلا تبارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا ولي العافية أسألك العافية عافية الدنيا والآخرة يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر. بسم الله وبالله والحمد لله وخير الأسماء لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لا إله صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك الثبات في الأمر والعزيمة بالرشد، وأسألك شكر نعمتك وحسن عبادتك، وأسألك قلبا سليما ولسانا صادقا. أسألك من خيرك خير ما تعلم، وأعوذ بك من شر ما تعلم، وأستغفرك مما تعلم، إنك علام الغيوب. اللهم صل على محمد وآله، وعافني واعف عني وأجرني من سخطك والنار، ومن عذاب نار الجحيم. وصل يا رب على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, Hajj Fuad is still in Lebanon. I didn't know that Hajj Rabi is here to bother him to do the announcement, but number one, we continue